Hey there and welcome back to XCOM 2. My name is Pete and today we complete another episode of our Legend Ironman walkthrough of XCOM 2 War of the Chosen. Last time we left off after a fairly stealthy mission to rescue Praetor Mox from his Advent prison, and with the one and only kill of that mission we also promoted Sharpshooter Sapphire West to Sergeant, which allowed us to purchase the first squad size upgrade in the Guerrilla Tactics School. So, for whatever mission we are going on today, we will be able to field 5 soldiers, so let's get to it and head back to the bridge, where we are about to hear a few more things from the Skirmishers now that we rescued one of their own.
This is the headquarters of the Skirmisher faction. They may look like Advent, but they sure don't act like it. Now that we've established contact, we can scan at this location to gain additional support for our cause.
You know them as they were, the soldiers of Advent. Now they are free to choose. If you stay your course, Commander, they will stand with you until the end. Commander, I believe it is time that we meet. I am Betos, first of the freed Advent. You are safe here. Praetor Mox was new to our cause, but he believed in our people's freedom, in this alliance, in you, Commander. I shall do the same. My skirmishers stand ready, should you need them. May our people stand united until the false gods fall.
Alright, so having rescued Mox, we have officially made contact with the Skirmishers and their leader Betos, and not Volk, like I mistakenly said in the last video. As a result, we have unlocked the Skirmisher HQ, and scanning there will speed up building time, potentially very useful, just like the now unlocked Skirmisher faction orders and covert actions, although we cannot use any of those until we get to our next monthly supply drop or until the Resistance Ring is completed.
We are ready for more orders, Commander. We only await your choice.
And we are starting off with a pretty good Resistance order, as a Vulture here allows us to recover more loot from enemies, and those drops can be valuable, especially in the early game. Weak points, meanwhile, would give us some extra armor shredding, and that will become useful soon as well, as more armored enemies appear. But again, for the moment we can't do anything with either of the two, so instead let's start scanning at that locator beacon.
Avenger plotting new course.
This beacon is part of the Alien Hunters DLC and shows up because we retroactively deselected the integrated DLC option for this playthrough. So instead of receiving the results of this scan via a research project, we can now simply scan for them.
Commander, we just got word that the Resistance hit an Advent supply line. We have an opportunity to salvage some high-value materials, assuming we can clear out the alien forces guarding the site first.
Alright, looks like we have already found our mission for today, as we are about to embark on our very first supply raid. Now, very importantly, as this is not mentioned here, skipping a supply raid will cause you to lose contact with the Resistance in that area, unless it is your starting region, which is the case here. Either way, we definitely want to take this mission, and we even get an extremely powerful sitrep bonus, which will allow us to track the movements of all enemies on the map at all times.
Course for Sector 11, West Africa.
And here's our squad for today, headlined by the recently rescued Skirmisher Praetor Mox, and completed by Specialist Van der Dam Dyke, our latest Ranger Golden Warhawk, Grenadier Nicholas Mouth Finlay, and Adalyn Tsunami Tarias. And after her first mission with XCOM, Adalyn actually decided to share a bit more background info with us, so her updated bio now reads as follows. Originally born in a noble family, she had to pick up a gun when the aliens invaded. Despite the drastic changes in her lifestyle, she did well in a fight, but not good enough. That's what she always remembered. And until she joined XCOM, she tried her best to participate in anything that gave her a bit of hope to regain Earth. By past discipline, she has fierce loyalty and bravery, doing whatever has to be done on the battlefield to get her squad through. So, sounds like Adalyn is more than willing to go the extra mile for our success. Let's see if she can put her abilities on display in this second mission of hers.
Sky Ranger.
We're in the pipe, 5 by 5.
Resistance operatives disabled an Advent convoy in this region, and they sent word for us to come in and seize whatever we can. This is the perfect opportunity for us to recover some of their gear. We'll need to secure the AO and neutralize any hostiles still in the area if we're going to get anything of use out of there. Menace 1-5. The disabled Advent convoy is just ahead. Engage and eliminate all hostile forces.
Commander, we managed to access an old reconnaissance satellite passing over the AO. We've got a complete picture of the area. There shouldn't be any surprises on this one.
And here we are at the mission site and with full visibility of the entire area and all enemies in it. We even start off on the high ground, so that is another lovely advantage, and it seems like we will be dealing with the usual 3 groups of enemies. Our secondary objective, after taking them all out, is to avoid damaging those glowing crates around the convoy, as the number of crates intact by the end of the mission determines how much loot we will recover. Advent will not actively try to destroy them though, so there is no mission timer and we can take our time with this one. However, since we already know where all the enemies are, we might as well start out with a round of dashes to get closer to that first group in front of us. Now, the alien turns will take a little longer than usual, as we get to see the movement of all 3 groups, and what we see from the first one here is absolutely perfect, because they are currently dropping down from the high ground, giving us the height advantage in a potential ambush. The other 2 groups meanwhile should stay out of range for the time being, but having a clear visual definitely helps us even now, because it makes it far easier to judge whether an aggressive move against the first group might trigger the second one, for example by moving in for a melee attack with the ranger. For now though, it looks like we are in a good position, so let's set things up for the ambush here. The group below will likely keep moving in that direction for 1 or 2 more turns.
That's the equipment we're after. We'll have to do our best to avoid destroying the gear while we secure the area.
Bradford then also mentions the containers I just talked about. I can't really see one in this area here, but we have spotted them in other places on the map. In any case, with everyone set up, we can activate 2 overwatches, just in case, and see what our enemies do.
No trespassing.
Scanning.
Alright, I'm cutting this short, the other 2 groups did not come any closer and this one here is in perfect position, so let's launch half of an Overwatch ambush by getting the 2 soldiers with the highest weapon damage output ready for reaction shots and then launching a grenade with Nicholas Finlay.
Heads down! We're in their sights! At first, Advent deployed non-lethal stun units for crowd control and the occasional protest. We don't see a whole lot of that anymore.
Good riddance.
Hostile neutralized!
And yes, it is always satisfying to see enemies fall like that, especially in this group, which is, or rather was, arguably the toughest one on the map. The reason for that are the aforementioned stun lancers, basically Advent's counterpart to our rangers. They like to get up close and personal, and their melee attack can be used after dashing, so they can attack over quite some distance. As the name suggests, their stun lance can also stun or disorient a soldier, and that is why I did not put everyone on Overwatch, because we cannot take the chance of leaving a stun lancer alive this early in the game. And with Mox not landing the critical hit here, we now move up Van Dyke to first pick up the loot.
Verstanden. Bewege mich zum Ziel.
That gives us a scope, always useful to have, and to guarantee the kill against the stun lancer, we can now use combat protocol, which does only 2 points of damage, but those are guaranteed and all we need. And there we are, that is the first group of enemies defeated. The other 2 should be a bit easier based on the types of enemies in them, although we have also lost concealment, so we need to be a bit careful now. However, since we can get a good idea of our enemy's patrol routes here, we should be able to lay down 1 or 2 good Overwatch ambushes regardless.
Moving to position.
For now, we can move up everyone just a little bit and stay on the high ground. At least that second group can definitely be engaged from up here, and the plus 20 aim bonus from above is just way too powerful to give up this early.
Got it covered.
And here they come. Enemy group number 2 is on their way back and should be in reaction shot range on the next turn, while the third group seems to just stay put for the moment. So I think we're ready for the next fight. Let's get in some reloads where we need them and then put everyone on Overwatch and hope that the aliens keep coming closer.
Scanning. Got movement here. Advent forces sighted.
Enemy eliminated!
Adjusting aim.
Alright, lovely. Just one miss out of 4 shots, the sectoid is already down, and Van Dyke did max damage against the Stun Lancer. So far, this mission is definitely going very well. However, at this point, we need to keep an eye on their third group of enemies, who I think have moved dangerously close to detecting us. So we probably should not try to move too much, unless it is absolutely necessary. And with a decent hit chance here with Van Dyke, let's see if we can maybe stay put. Okay, that misses, but that's not too bad. Tsunami Talpas does have a good hit chance with her sniper rifle as well. Wonderful, that takes care of the Stun Lancer, and for the Trooper we'll use a grenade with the Ranger Warhog. Maybe it kills them, but at the very least it will destroy their cover. And there we are, 1 hit point remains. That would have been a good opportunity for a pistol shot from Ada Lynn, but we needed her elsewhere, and as we've learned earlier, she is willing to do whatever it takes, which now frees up the shot for Grenadier Nicholas.
Hostile neutralized. Running dry.
And there we are, 2 out of the 3 groups are down, we haven't taken so much as a scratch yet, and the arguably weakest group of enemies is the last one remaining.
No trespassers.
For now, they are retreating, which gives us a tiny bit of room to move up, but again not too far, as we don't want to get detected too early here.
Let's rock.
Once again, the plan is to get everyone ready for another Overwatch ambush, as the 3 enemies will eventually make their return trip and come back into range, although for the moment it looks like they keep moving away from us. So let's keep bringing up a few people and remain on Overwatch.
Moving to designated position.
And yes, with 5-person squads now making an appearance, I should probably install the Overwatch All mod for the next episode.
Overwatch. I await their
Moving to Overwatch.
Quiet. Do you hear something?
Alright, that looks like our enemies are moving in the right direction, so let's not do anything hasty here. Move Ada Lynn out of a fire that might potentially spread over to her on the next turn, and get ready for some reaction shots.
Covering now. There's something out there.
Okay, so it looks like our enemies will stay put, and while we could of course stand here, wait for a few more turns and see if they eventually do come closer, let's not forget that it's 5 on 3.
Advent forces sighted.
So, the last group is active and running for cover, but we are fine with that. I think taking them out on this turn should not be too much to ask, so let's open things up with another grenade from Nicholas.
Heads down.
The sectoid's full cover sadly stays intact, but the remaining 6 hit points are enough for Ranger Warhog if he can land the slash attack.
Enemy eliminated.
Perfect, that leaves us with only the troopers, and it looks like Ada Lynn will now get to use her pistol after all.
Taken care of.
And for the last kill of the mission, we are leaving nothing to chance and use Mox's Justice Grapple to take out the trooper.
Accept your fate. take from the Elder stock.
Status confirmed. All hostiles are down and the area is secure. Status confirmed. Mission accomplished.
Alright, a flawless mission in all areas. We kept everyone safe and no supply containers were destroyed either. The additional soldier in our ranks definitely made this one noticeably easier. So let's memorize another successful endeavor with a picture here and then head back to the Avenger.
Oh, that's a cute pose.
Advent officials revealed today's maneuver by local peacekeepers was a planned exercise. Citizens should not be alarmed. All weapon fire and wounds were simulated to better train Advent forces.
End the Elder's false vision. That is the purpose of all skirmishers. Until it is done, there can be no other path for us.
So here we are with 3 promotions waiting for us, starting with the man who did the most damage on this mission, Grenadier Nicholas Mouth Finlay. And just like with Grenadier Twitchy, we are going with Shredder for him for a more offensive-minded build, but we do have a 3rd Grenadier currently training in the GTS, and we might switch things up and go with Blast Padding with them. Sharpshooter Ada Lynn, meanwhile, receives Long Watch instead of the reactive return fire. Just like with Sapphire West, I would prefer if she did not come under fire in the first place. Now, that brings us to Mox, and leveling up the Skirmishers works the same way it does for the Reapers. Every rank brings with it a few abilities, and for now we have to choose one, but ultimately with enough ability points we can unlock them all. The first one here is Reflex, giving Mox an extra action on his next turn if he's fired upon, albeit only once per mission. That is the ability's biggest limitation in my opinion, as well as the fact that skirmishers are not really meant to get shot at that much. So we are skipping it for now, just like Total Combat. Again, being able to use grenades or items without ending the turn is definitely not terrible, but the skirmishers can already shoot without ending their turn, so it's not too difficult to get similar results. The main reason we are skipping these two, however, is Lightning Reflexes, which some of you might remember from our first series. Now, getting this ability at the corporal level is not guaranteed, as it is part of the randomized pool of XCOM abilities, and for the Skirmisher it is a pretty good ability, especially since it can be triggered without actually using Mox's movement. After all, grappling triggers enemy reaction fire as well and does not cost an action. So that is our choice for now, but again, that does not mean that other abilities won't be selected eventually. Now, at this point, we can take a closer look at the loot we have recovered, and since this was a supply raid, the list is a bit longer than usual. Next to our enemies' dead bodies and the scope we picked up, we have also gathered our very first alien alloys and Elerium crystals, next to a small pile of supplies and another Elerium core, our second one after the one we picked up in episode 2. And I think, since the video would otherwise be a bit shorter than usual, let's keep scanning for a little while longer. And yes, we do also have a few soldier bonds to decide about, but I think I'll take a look at those off-screen in between episodes. Alright, with a good selection of valuable items in storage after the supply raid, we are now informed of the black market, XCOM 2's take on the grey market from the first game. And we definitely want to unlock that pretty soon, but for now let's stay focused on that locator beacon.
Avenger plotting new course.
Let this stand as a reminder to you, Commander. Until you return to your place at the Elder's side, all who would stand with you in defiance will suffer the same fate.
And the Chosen do their best to remind us that despite our recent success, they can still be a pain in the ass. This time, the Assassin uses a retribution to further reduce the region income in the new Arctic, and for now, there is nothing we can really do about that.
These Chosen are constantly hunting us to try and recapture you, Commander, and are spreading terror throughout the Resistance as they go. We'll need to pay close attention to each one as they gain more information about our plans.
And yes, Bradford does point out the importance of the Resistance ring to counter the Chosen and to gain valuable benefits of our own, and luckily for us, the facility's construction is already in its last stages. It should only take one more in-game week and we can finally unlock the full potential of covert actions and Resistance orders. But until then, let's keep scanning.
You and I both know we only had one other Sky Ranger, Commander. It's worse for wear, but this heap used to be Big Sky's pride and joy. And someone's been putting her to work. It may be possible to triangulate exactly where they took off from, but it'll take some time.
And there we are, we have scanned the locator beacon of an old Sky Ranger, and while we did not find anyone alive at the wreckage, we did recover some cargo. Apparently, a large crate bearing faded XCOM insignia contained several unusual weapons.
Commander, these weapons are unlike any design I have previously encountered before. I could attempt further analysis, but the likelihood of us reverse engineering them appears low regardless.
And yes indeed, we have just unlocked the weapons of the hunt. We'll take a closer look at them in the next episode, but basically these are unique weapons that can be used in place of the standard assault rifle, pistol, grenade and ranger sword. They are all a little bit more powerful than their regular counterparts, but not in a way that would completely break the balance of the early game, and I think in a completionist playthrough they absolutely deserve to be shown off.
Avenger plotting new course.
For now though, let us unlock the black market, as the ability to sell unwanted items and buy potentially powerful bonuses should drastically improve our flexibility.
If this is what it takes to draw you out of hiding, Commander, then the Elders are more than willing to keep up the pressure.
And of course, the Hunter does not sit idly by either, so we are now getting another income reduction via retribution in South Africa as well, but again, nothing we can do about that right now.
Our friends in the Resistance are paying a heavy price with the Chosen running loose. We should do what we can to take them down before they hit again. Commander, the aliens continue to make progress on the Avatar project. If we're going to slow them down, we'll need to move fast.
Okay, so the Avatar project, our doomsday tracker, is making progress, but let's not fall into a panic just yet. Instead, let's celebrate the opening of the black market. Now, we can both buy and sell things here, and on the lower right you can see that certain items are in particular demand this month, meaning that we can earn some extra supplies for selling them. For now though, the more interesting thing is what we can buy, and as you can see here, the list is quite long and contains not only stuff like alloys, crystals or weapon attachments, but also personnel, like another engineer in this case, as well as the ability to rush certain research projects. The catch, however, is that while we earn supplies for selling stuff, we can only buy things with intel, and we also need plenty of that to make contact with the next regions. At the moment, we have 148 intel and we need 160 to contact the next resistance cell, and you can see here that the prices for all of these offers would take a decent chunk out of that. And so that is actually the question that I'm leaving you with to end today's episode. Do you think we should spend some of that intel to grab any of the goods offered here, and if so, which ones, or do you think we are better off holding on to our intel? I could definitely see why purchasing a second engineer or the research speed increase for magnetic weapons could be intriguing, but we also need to keep making contact with those resistance cells, and being unable to do so for a lack of intel could pose a serious problem. So let me know what you think we should do in the comments below, and as always I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, then I would be very happy if you could leave a thumbs up, and if you like what I'm doing and want to support me and my channel further, then you can go ahead and subscribe to stay up to date, grab some merch over on shop.petecomplete.com, or check out and maybe even pledge to the Pete Complete Patreon. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.